Hey, welcome, guys, to the episode 6 on the. I'm about to say the Do It Now challenge because I do the Do It Now challenge all the time. As a matter of fact, welcome everybody to the Leadership Game Podcast, episode 7. I have with me here Dr. Mayowa Olusoji. It's a great privilege to have him here. Now, obviously, as you know, guys, we're here to talk leadership. We're here to talk about the simplicities and the complexities surrounding the word leadership. And already me and Dr. Mayo are already talking about leadership, and I was like, I need to press the record button because we need to talk about that. So it's an exciting time. I love to bring people who are doing amazing work out there in their own field and creating impact. And my goal is to bring them in so we can have conversations around the leadership. And today I have someone who is a financial literacy coach who is going to talk with us about money management and leadership and how they go hand in hand. And of course, again, it's to increase your leadership capacity, your leadership capabilities, and your just to keep growing as a leader. So without further ado, thank you, Dr. Mayowa. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Calvin. The do it now, coach. It's great to see you. It was nice meeting you, and I think when we met, it was very very clear that we need to do things together. And to me, this is just the beginning, really, because
Wow.
it's all about collaboration, and it's about being able to let people hear what we have to say. So it's a privilege to be here. Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. You know what? We met at the. Let's even talk about that. We met at the House of Lords in on the 24th of April, I reckon. And it was good to see you get the doctorate. And I saw you, and I'm like, I need to have a chat with this man. And again, your material, your books coming out on Saturday, the launch date. We're going to talk about that as well. So it's a pleasure to meet you. And obviously, you've come on the show. A lot of people are wondering who are you. So tell us about your journey, your motivations, why you do what you do.
Okay, I'm going to keep it very, very short because I could ramble on that one. Okay, who am I? My name is Dr. Mayowa Olusoji, and I'm a financial literacy coach. But in a nutshell, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher at
Mm,
heart. That is what I am.
mm,
And
mm,
my journey began. I did architecture for my first degree. After doing
mm,
architecture, from there I did my MBA, went into business
mm.
administration. Then I
Wow,
went into project consulting and into programming. I can
wow,
program. I'm a programmer as well. So I went into
wow.
programming. So I consulted in project management for is it 13 or 12 or thereabout more years.
Wow.
Thereabout I've been a project consultant as well. And I think I started working with one of the financial firms about 14 excuse me, 14, 15 years ago. And I think that was what started to get my
Mm,
attention. But I didn't
mm,
pay attention to me that much,
mm.
really, not until about 16 years ago when my dad passed away. And all of a sudden, it seems
Wow.
everything changed.
Mm,
Everything as we
mm,
knew it changed
mm,
completely. And to me,
mm,
that was a wake up moment. And I
mm,
am the firstborn, I'm the first
mm.
son.
Come on
So
now.
all of a sudden, a baton you were not expecting
Mm,
in a race you were not prepared.
mm.
It was just like the doing 4x100. And,
Yeah.
Jamaica is running there, Usain Bolt, Aspar Powell, all of them are there. And you just sitting down there and say, yeah, that's my country. I'm hailing them. Go on, come
Mm,
on. And all
mm.
of a sudden, Usain Bolt says, oh, what happened? He's pulling an hamstring. Now, somebody
Wow.
needs to come and run this race. So that was
Wow.
what happened.
Mm,
He's the daddy. He was he gave everything for us. And,
mm,
you don't appreciate your parents until they're not there. Then when you
mm.
now wear those shoes, that's when you're like, hey,
Mm,
on his lies the head that wears the crown. So basically, that
mm,
was what the wake up call was then.
mm,
And I
mm,
remember, I think 5 years ago, I worked with an amazing lady. She's called
mm,
Tess Idemudia. Anywhere I go,
mm,
sorry, Tess Adesua,
mm,
she is an amazing individual because one of the things she asked was while we were talking, we were working on the same project, and she
mm.
was like, who are you? What do you do?
Wow.
And I couldn't say exactly what I do. I couldn't say who I am because
Mm,
I was rambling on and saying all the things I've done in the past. Saying, no, 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 no. What do you do? And
wow.
that was about 5 years ago. That 4 5 years ago, that was when the search intensified in terms of if I had to simplify what I do, what is it that I can do without being paid for, and I'll be happy. And I realized it was teaching.
Wow.
And what is it I love to teach about? I like to make people's life better. I read a
Mm.
lot. I'm a voracious reader. I read a lot. To me,
Mm.
knowledge excites me. I like to be aware of what I don't know, because that is what kills you
Wow.
really. So those are the things now, like, oh, I like to impact what I know
Mm.
to others,
Mm.
so that
Mm.
they can actually have the benefit. And the only way you learn is when you teach. Many people
Mm.
don't realize that it is teachers
Mm.
who learn,
Mm.
you know.
Mm.
So that was what got me into it. And I remember when I first started, and at that point in time, I started a newsletter and I began to write about just general stuff. And then that
Mm.
was when Power to Know came to, in terms of
Mm.
having the power to know. That
Yeah.
was how Power to Know was birthed. And that's the journey. And all of a sudden, it
Mm.
just went like that. And I just find anywhere I am, any small conversation I am, I'm talking to people about something, I'm teaching them about this thing.
Mm.
And, most especially it's finance, because see,
Mm. Mm.
if you take money problems away,
Come on now.
98% of what we pray for is gone.
Wow.
We have
Wow.
time to worship. We have time to worship God. We
Yeah.
have time to do purpose. The distraction
Mm.
of we not being able to do what we want to do is because
Mm.
of what we need to do. A lot of
Wow.
people, a lot of us are doing things we don't like because it's going to be able to pay the bill so that we can spend a few times just to leave. So
Wow.
that's why it's okay. Why don't we take that struggle away so we can actually blossom as individuals, so we can do
Mm.
that which we really, now
Mm.
tell me, if they give everybody £1 million today in the UK,
Mm.
I can bet with you 98% of people will not wake up and go to that job they were in before that.
Mm. Mm. Talk
If
to
you were
me.
to be paid the exact
Mm.
money for everything you do, would you still be doing what you're doing?
Mm.
My answer is yes.
Mm.
My
Mm.
answer is yes. Not until
Mm.
everybody can answer that question, then
Mm.
you've not discovered purpose.
Come on now.
So that, to
Mm.
me, that was what all the journey is about, and that's what's gotten me. The two books we are talking about, the first one is The Money Problem, and to me,
Mm.
it's about what I've learned from my coaches. And yes, I have coaches.
Mm.
You have no idea how many coaches I have, in terms
Mm.
of people who
Mm.
have been there, who showed me the way,
Mm.
people who poured everything into me in
Mm.
terms of me being where I'm beginning to be, what I'm beginning to be. So
Mm.
it's not taking all of that and being able to say, okay, how can I serve the world? And the best way is put in the book. And The
Wow.
Money Problem talks about, okay, the fundamentals of, see, you will forever interact with money until the day you die.
Mm. Come on now.
So there's no shortcut,
Come on now.
So
Mm.
it is, and we seem to think the money problem is one that a silver bullet can solve. No,
Mm. Wow.
that is why statistics has shown that 65% of people who win the lottery, they go broke after 3 to 4 years. That is
Wow.
why you see professional footballers earning 50,000 a week 4 years after retirement, they go
Mm.
broke. So
Wow.
that means the problem is actually not the money.
Come on now. Come on now. Talk to me. Mm.
So those are the things that's come together for me to be able to say, okay, I've
Mm.
got to start to make people realize this thing, that come,
Mm.
you're using it's wrong diagnosis.
Mm. Mm.
You know,
Wow.
I'm gonna put out the impact of inflation on your day-to-day life.
Jeez.
Yesterday they were telling us that the inflation rate in UK is now 3.9, where they're expecting 3.6. Most people, it didn't make anything to most people.
Wow.
But those are those things that are outside your control. You need to be aware of, because they influence that money that is coming into your pocket. So it's being able to bring all of those things together and
Mm.
create a channel where I can do that. That's the first book, The Money Problem. The
Mm.
second one now, there is, we are at a place in life whereby, say, most of us, we are just reprogramming or trying to upgrade the software we have. Our
Mm.
software is already baked in.
Wow.
That is why there's a saying, give me a child at 6 and I'll have that child forever. It's
Wow.
your app, because every child is born with a blank canvas.
Mm.
On a
Mm.
blank canvas, whatever you paint on it,
Mm.
it's what stays.
Mm.
Two things paint on the child's canvas:
Mm.
the environment the child was
Mm.
born into
Mm.
and the people. That
Mm.
is why if you take a twin, one in Nigeria and one in Japan, they are born on the same, they take them apart.
Mm.
In 20 years' time, when they come together, one is Japanese, one is Nigerian, and they are from the same embryo.
Wow. Wow.
So it's
Wow.
being able to understand that. That is why the second book, Maya's Magic Coin, is let's begin to now,
Mm.
this new generation we have. See, we love them so much. We buy useless things for them. The
Mm.
toys they would break.
Mm.
But we are not giving them the software they would need when eventually they begin to interact with money. And they
Mm.
interacted with money a lot earlier than we did.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
do they begin to understand how money works and understand it? And
Wow.
that is what that book is beginning. It's a whole new series because I think Maya's Magic Coin has just
Mm.
grown itself. It's grown into, it's going to
Mm.
have educational series, money
Mm.
affirmation,
Mm.
it's going to have, so many things in terms of around
Mm.
that character,
Mm.
whereby we begin to, Bob the Builder, Bob the
Mm.
Builder character is teaching children around building.
Mm. Yeah.
Norman Price. These are things they've created to teach children things, but what is teaching our children about money? Financial literacy.
Mm.
It's the most important thing we don't talk about.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And earn money. And when you get your first paycheck, what do you do with it?
Yeah. Mm.
So
Mm.
that is
Mm.
what has brought my journey all the way around to where I am. And if you
Wow.
give me $1 million, I will still be
Wow.
doing this.
Wow, 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 wow. Listen, I'm blown away already. My notes is like filled up. I'm blown away because many of the things you've said in the space of the time that you've got that I've just given you has really changed my perspective on how I see life, money, my kids, the software, the canvas, 98% of money, the problems that we're facing, the purpose, what I want to do with my life. I'm distracted because there's a money issue. And again, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be talking about money. Money has a wonderful part it plays in my life for the rest of my life. So listen, I'm blown away. I'm I'm blown away. And these are real truths. This is a real. Will I do what I'm doing now if I had $1 million given to me? That's a very powerful question. And I'm sure whoever's listening to this is going to really take some moment to reflect, to stop, to pause, and to just take all that in and just pause. Mm. Oh, wow. I see why you do what you do now. I see it. Oh, wow. So, okay. Right. Hmm. Hmm. So, as a leader, how important is money for me? I mean, you said you already, but let's talk
Woo.
about this leadership and money.
See, leadership and money is something whereby, we're talking about something about leaders. The problem we have there is
Hmm.
leadership, it's a matter of, it's defined in different contexts. If you put leadership into Webster, it's going to give you a different definition. If you put it
Hmm.
into Google, it's going to give you, to
Hmm.
me, is what is leadership. One of my favorite books in the world is a book that has six chapters.
Hmm.
And to me, it's one of the oldest book that has transcended time.
Wow.
That is how I measure knowledge. The book you're reading, who wrote it?
Hmm.
How long has it been around? Has it
Hmm.
been tested?
Hmm.
So my reference always goes back to this book. It's one of the longest literature standing.
Hmm.
And one of the
Wow.
things in the book there is what the book says about leadership is it's outstanding because one of the leaders in the book, when he talks about leaders,
Hmm.
it talks about for you to be a leader, you've got to serve.
Come on.
Leadership is in servanthood.
Wow. Wow.
The problem we have with leaders is leadership is seen as a position of esteem. There is this amazing basketball coach John Wooden. I think it's
Hmm.
John Wood or
Yeah.
John Wooden, Coach John
John
Wooden.
Wooden. Yeah.
One of the
Yeah.
things that is, if you really want to know how to be a
Hmm.
leader, is after every game when they win or whatever the case is, they will still find coach with his broom the next day sweeping.
Wow.
If you want to be a leader, get a broom. What is
Yeah.
that saying is your ability to be able to relate serves it starts with servanthood. There
Hmm.
are many people who are calling themselves leaders who never served.
Come on now.
For
Come
you
on now.
to serve, you must come as one of them. That is how you
Hmm.
can relate. See, there
Hmm.
is a distance between reality and the people leading, is because they cannot relate with the pain. See, they
Mm.
cannot relate with the struggle of the
Mm.
people. It's not
Mm.
their fault.
Come on now.
This guy went to private school, from private
Mm.
school to private high school, from private high
Mm.
school to Cambridge, Yale, whatever it is, and
Mm.
everybody is
Mm.
excelling him. From there, got a great job in one of those blue chips company. From there, became
Mm.
a director, and he becomes a leader of a nation whereby 80% of them are struggling. How
Mm.
does he relate? Where is he
Mm.
pulling that experience from?
Mm. Wow. Talk to me.
How do you feel the pain of somebody who is living on paycheck to paycheck? Somebody who even the basic minimum wage is not even enough to cover things. How do you relate?
Mm.
You've never served.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And
Mm.
service is a thing of that. See, leadership is not about you.
Mm.
Look at the greatest leaders the world
Mm.
is celebrating and have sustained that. One of
Mm.
them is Nelson Mandela.
Yeah. Talk to me.
We can't dispute he's a leader
Yeah.
outrightly.
Yeah.
But look at his story.
Mm.
Nelson Mandela can relate.
Mm.
Why?
Mm.
Because he had served.
Mm. Mm. Come on now.
So it's easy for him to get up there and think of policies to be made, and he's
Mm.
not thinking of the cooperation that they are in need just for the money, but he's thinking of, I remember, when I was doing this. No,
Mm. Mm.
those are the things that are lacking these days.
Mm. Mm.
And when it now comes to finances and leadership,
Mm.
most people
Mm.
is about if you can manage what you have
Mm.
during your period of servanthood,
Come on.
all that happens is just amplification. That's what
Mm.
leadership is. What you're
Mm.
doing with within your family unit
Yeah.
is the same thing you will do when that unit becomes a nation.
Wow. 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 Wow.
So it's about people look
Mm.
at leadership and they think it's a great place. Why
Mm.
the saying says, "On easy lies the head that wears the crown." That
Mm.
was when wearing the crown was about true leadership, which
Mm.
is via servanthood.
Mm. 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 Wow. Wow. Wow.
But
Wow.
these days, the heads that wear the crown is enjoying because there is no reference to the pain of the people.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
It's not relatable. And
Mm.
when you are not one of them, you cannot relate to them. You cannot relate with them.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So when it comes to
Mm.
finances and
Mm.
leadership, my
Mm.
question there is, in the process of your servanthood,
Mm.
you should have mastered what it requires, because finances is all about the management's game. That is what
Mm.
life is about.
Mm.
Your
Mm.
ability to manage, maximize, and bring the best, because we are all what? We are all
Mm.
custodians. We own nothing.
Mm. Come on now.
We came
Come
with
on.
nothing. We will die with nothing.
Come on now. Come on now.
That
Right.
is the fact.
Yeah.
So it's your ability to manage whatever is being given to you:
Mm.
money,
Mm.
position,
Mm.
power,
Mm.
influence, your ability to manage them.
Mm.
And that is what eventually morphs into your ability. It's very hard for you to somebody who is good with money
Mm.
who does not have discipline.
Mm. Hey. Right. Right. I was
See,
gonna go. Mm. Mm. Mm.
it's not, it doesn't stand by itself.
Mm.
The
Mm.
best leaders are the best managers,
Come on. Best leaders, best
because
managers.
yeah. Look at
Mm.
Jose Mourinho, with all the faults people might say about him. He's
Mm.
one of the few people who did not really play the game,
Mm.
but he was good as being a good manager, because all you're doing there is you providing direction
Mm.
while you getting the best out of the resources available.
Wow. Wow.
How can you
Wow.
get the best out of the resources if
Wow.
you lack the management skills required to know what do those people even carry?
Wow. 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 You touched on some point there, So let me ask you, 'cause you mentioned discipline. How important is it for leaders to demonstrate financial discipline? And what are some practical ways that we can do this?
The best way is to start where is financial literacy.
Right. Okay.
And what is financial literacy? Financial literacy is you understanding how money works,
Hmm.
how it comes in, how
Hmm.
to keep it, and how to multiply it.
Wow. Wow.
And it's your ability to understand, okay, how do I generate this? That is why you see a lot of nations
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
have so many resources that they're still struggling. It's just lack of leadership, lack of direction. Number one,
Hmm.
do they know how to
Hmm.
generate resources from what they have? If
Hmm.
they do, the number two there is, how well are they managing those resources?
Hmm.
It's just like if you have 10 naira, it is the
Hmm.
way, it is what you do with 10 pounds, you will do with £1,000,000. I would say
Come
that
on.
again.
Come on now.
It
Come on.
just add zeros at the back of it, because it is not that piece of paper you're holding. It is the things that is influencing your decision making process, is what
Whoa.
makes you delve. How you do with 10 is how you do with 1,000,000,000.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
So once you understand those concepts, you said, okay, when this comes in, how
Hmm.
do I do it?
Hmm. Hmm.
Trivialize so the problem there is, we despise the little beginnings, and it's the little beginnings that are the
Hmm.
things that grow us into the ability to manage bigger things.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow. 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 So we generate it, we manage it, and then we multiply it. Wow.
That is all. Okay, what does having children, what does it mean?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
meet your partner,
Mm-hmm.
you put a seed into your partner,
Hmm.
and she gives you a child.
Hmm. Come on now. Come
And
on now.
that is what it is. You generate it, it comes. See,
Hmm.
we're living in a world right now whereby there are more resources than ever. There's more money than we've ever had in the world.
Wow. Wow.
But the
Wow.
problem we have there is the leaders are bad managers.
Hmm.
The supposed leaders are bad
Hmm.
managers.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is why there's scarcity. There's more money around. I read somewhere which says, if we divide all the wealth of the world equally amongst the same number of people,
Hmm.
in the next 5 to 10 years, 98% of that money will go back to the people that currently have it right now.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
It's because they have something. They've created a
Hmm.
system, a structure, a
Hmm.
discipline, a roadmap that allows
Hmm.
them to know how to generate it, multiple source
Hmm.
of income,
Mm-hmm.
to know how to manage it, and
Hmm.
know how to see. It is not what you make.
Hmm.
It's not. That is why it takes just one out of
Hmm.
what comes out of a man,
Hmm.
out of the whole 5 billion, to create
Hmm.
a child. It
Hmm.
is not the noise of all the other.
Come
So
on
it is
now.
not. It is not what you make. It
Hmm.
is what you keep. What are you keeping?
Hmm. Hmm.
See, if you don't keep, perpetual poverty
Actual
is
poverty.
inevitable, because
Wow.
everything else is from what you've kept.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So that is why leaders have to be excellent managers, and
Wow.
your managerial skills is being developed through servanthood.
Right. Right. Okay. Talk to me. Wow.
There is this particular story. I'm sure you'd have heard about it.
Hmm.
It's in one of
Hmm.
my. It's in one of my favorite book.
Hmm.
This story talks about a young man. The young man's name is called Joseph. And you see, we all jump too quick at when he became a prime minister,
Hmm.
but we all keep forgetting. There was one particular part in that story
Come
when I
on.
was reading that story, and he
Hmm.
says the father sent him to go and look for his brothers to check on them.
Hmm.
He was serving the father.
Hmm.
When he got to where they were supposed to be,
Hmm.
they were not there.
Hmm.
He did not go back home.
Hmm.
He now went an extra mile and asked her, please, where are my brothers? I need to see them.
Hmm.
They now said they have gone another 30 miles. He
Hmm.
now walked an extra 30 miles.
Wow.
When
Wow.
he got there, that was when they saw him from a distance. That was when they were able to say, okay, let us do whatever we need to do to him.
Wow.
So he had always, through every stage in his life,
Jeez.
when they sold him and he got into the Potiphar's house,
Yeah.
He went into that company, and all it is excellence. You could see excellency in the way he was growing and he was serving. He continued to serve to the point whereby the man had to see, when you serve to a point, you cannot be hidden.
Talk to me.
That is how leaders are born. See, we are
Right.
so carried away with this social media influencer, all of this. See, the true leadership is about content. Content is built in the process of service.
Come on now.
This
Come on
guy
now.
has served to the point whereby his master cannot ignore him. That
Wow.
this guy is so good at what he does. See, when we get to a place where we are so good at serving, we are mastering the act of leadership.
Wow. Wow.
And we know
Wow.
how he ended up, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Prime
ended up,
Minister.
and everybody sees that John, how we jump, but we keep forgetting those little times when he was a nobody. He was in the prison. He was still doing he was still serving in the prison. You can see that.
Yeah.
He was thrown in the prison for what is not done.
Wow.
He has all the right to be grumpy and to grumble, but he was still doing what? He was still serving others.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's a perspective that is shifted. You know what I'm getting from this, Dr. Olusoji? That everything we're doing now, even this, what we're doing right now, was seven. And everyone have brought on this podcast. We've talked about the same thing in different ways. We're all going back to that service, the servicehood, the heart-centeredness, the place of service, the place from the heart. And that's what made Joseph walk the extra 30 miles, was the place of the heart. Kids. And so, I've got lots of questions about money management and things about, but what I'm getting from you is, if you are a great service person, if you got that service heart, you can manage money right, because you're not thinking about yourself.
Exactly.
Come on.
Do you know what happened when he now became big?
Wow.
He became big, but he did not, because he never harbored bitterness. So when the brother knew there was him, they were scared. But he was like, why should I be scared? This is my calling. God has seen ahead. And that is how calling is. See, leadership is a calling. That's why leaders don't compromise. True leaders don't compromise.
Come on now.
That is why when the wife of that Potiphar came and said this, he couldn't compromise, because he knows that this is my assignment.
Wow.
My assignment is in my servicehood. And see, my favorite book, the Bible says, time and chance happen to them all. We will all get the time and the chance in life. The difference is, have you served enough to be well prepared for when that time and chance happens? He only had one chance with the king, not two.
Wow.
He only had one chance with the king. And what happened? He had been prepared long enough, because he served long enough. He did not even recommend himself. He didn't say, I will do that. He said, it is for you to find a man. You see, he was preferring solution like he did in the prison. He wasn't considering himself, but the king was wise enough to know that if you can provide the solution, then he said there's no other that is better than you. And that's what happens to leaders who have served so well. See, leadership is not measured by what you've achieved, not about the wealth, all of that. No. You can achieve all of those things without being a leader. All you have to do is make the right investments. But when we talk about leadership, there's a dimension to it that is beyond. What is the yardstick of measuring leadership? That's that's a discussion for another day. So
yeah. But then we can relate this to what you're saying. It's about what's the track record of your servicehood?
Exactly.
How long have you served? And I think that's what I'm getting from you. Let's go. Forget about everything, Kelvin. Let's go back to, where are you currently serving? How are you serving? Where are you serving?
How long?
How long have you been serving?
I want you to have a think. I would ask this question. I ask everybody I speak to, is like, show me somebody who has sustained a level of success in a particular field for a considerable period of time without them having a track record. There is not one. And that is where we get this, what we call the the 10,000 hours of mastery.
Yeah, yeah. Malcolm
There's
Gladwell.
nobody on any field that is
Hmm.
not as a minimum of 10 years.
Come
Show me
on.
any field, anybody that has maintained success at
Wow.
that level that don't have a minimum of 10 years track record. Show me one.
Wow.
There's not one. Even the athletes, show me that is maintained, not those ones
Come on.
that they pick and they drop, but that has
No.
maintained that. You will
Hmm.
see a minimum of 10 years of service. A
Hmm.
minimum of 10 years of service.
Hmm.
If you read
Dedication.
Michael Phelps'
Hmm.
story, it will shock you how many years this guy has devoted. And now everybody celebrates Michael Phelps as the greatest Olympian. No, it wasn't by chance. Though you could say, okay, he was blessed with the features he had, but that's a different story. Ronaldo is not the most skillful player. When Man United bought Ronaldo and Nani, Nani had better skills than Ronaldo.
Wow. Wow.
But look
Wow.
at both of them today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anywhere you read about Ronaldo, all the biographies I've read, you will hear all of them saying he's the first one in training. When we are all going, we still leave him there. The guy has served. No wonder he can still play at that level at that age. How long have you served for?
Come on
How
now.
long?
Come on now. And so we're talking about the area of our giftings, the things that come to us naturally, the gifts, the things that we found about ourselves, our purpose, our mission. But then how long are we serving that? How long are we refining and working on it and sharpening it and putting it out there and serving? Wow.
There is a book I'll recommend to you. It's called Talent is Overrated.
Wow.
When I
Talk to
read
me.
that book blew my mind.
Wow.
One of the things in the book there was this man, he said he's going to give birth to, he's going to train his children to become world chess masters. And he had 3 daughters. And he said, look, forget talent.
Come on.
Talent is for the lazy. I'm talented is lazy.
Come on now.
It's overrated. If you put in the work.
Come on now.
If you put in the work, hard work will beat talent any day.
Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Talk to me. Talk to me. Wow. Wow. Right. Right. I agree. I agree. That's the defining line. That's what makes a distinction.
Yeah.
Because we're surrounded by talented people, but who's working on it? Who's using it? Who's serving it?
Exactly.
Wow.
So that's the curse of talent.
Wow.
That's why you see many footballers don't really excel. The ones that have talent. Very few of them that have talent put in the hard work, because talent makes a lot of people lazy. We coast.
Yeah. Yeah.
People who are not talented, they graft.
Ha! Come on.
They graft. They show up every day.
Come on now. Talk to me.
So when they get there, you can't blame it. They've earned it. Success can be earned.
Right. Right. So bringing this down now back to where we are, money management, it comes from your place of service, and it takes a lot of discipline. You got to think about making that money, generating that income, managing it, multiplying it, and to manage it, you got to go into that servanthood. So now, are you saying think about others in your servanthood when you're managing that funds? Are you talking about thinking about the next generation? Are you talking about thinking about beyond just yourself?
You know one thing about delayed gratification?
Yeah.
There is no successful or no leader who does not have that as one of their core pillars. Your ability to delay gratification means I'm not going to enjoy it now.
Wow.
I'm going to take care of a future self.
Come on.
That future self, it's you, whoever is around you. It's not about immediate consumption. It is not about I.
Wow.
That is why when it comes to financial, it's about now. What gets us into financial problem is the word I. Who cares about your new clothes? Do you really think people care about the car you can't afford? You went to take on loan, and they just see you for a moment, or the shoes you couldn't afford. You've got to buy now, pay later. Who cares about it?
Hmm.
We are not as important to the world as we think we are.
Cheers.
So
Come on
if we
now.
can take a step back, and it is not just about us,
Hmm.
we'll feel the pains of people around us. See, there's one secret formula I found out.
Hmm.
Why most people remain poor is because they're selfish. Because
Hmm.
it is from that little you have. If you cannot give from the little you have, then you cannot defer gratification.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. Wow.
You
Wow.
cannot defer gratification. If you cannot defer gratification, you cannot manage money
Wow.
because everything
Right.
is teaching you consume now.
Yeah.
Imagine a farmer
Hmm.
who has a whole corn.
Hmm.
So farmers, one has a whole corn, they both have corn. One
Hmm.
of them was hungry, ate everything.
Hmm.
The other one was hungry but did not eat everything.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
this one in the short term will be
Hmm.
full,
Hmm.
enjoying life. This one will be okay, but we'll have to live with the fact that it's not as filled as it's meant to be.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, it plants.
Hmm.
Well, that is when you invest. You don't see the returns. Your
Hmm.
grafting does not pay you dividend immediately.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
eventually,
Hmm.
later on, when the
Hmm.
time for harvest comes, you
Hmm.
ate everything you have. You got nothing to add to. You didn't plant anything anyway, so why should you expect a return?
Wow.
One grain of corn in the ground gives you at least a corn that has 10 cobs.
Wow. Right. Cheers.
So it's the ability, if you cannot delay that gratification, you
Hmm.
cannot give because giving means you're depriving yourself right now. You're
Yeah.
serving others. That is what
Hmm.
service is all about. It's
Hmm.
not you. The
Hmm.
universe does not revolve around you.
Hmm. Wow. 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 Listen, we've gone way past time. But I'm pretty sure anyone else listening right now has really got something from this conversation. And honestly, I wish I could have you more on this call. But I'm mindful of your time as well. I do apologize, got past a great time. But this is so powerful. I need to replay it again and listen to it over and over again because you don't know what you're doing or what you're saying. It's just I'm thinking of my money now. I'm thinking of, okay, Kelvin, you need to go back there and do that and do that and do this. And it's all coming from this conversation. So I am getting stronger from this conversation. Thank
Me
you.
too.
Thank you. Thank you. Just the final one before I let you go. Um, what are the any material would you are the materials you could recommend? What would you recommend for leaders right now to improve their literacy, their discipline? Any materials that you could recommend?
I think I'll start with you wrote an amazing book. I've not read it, but it's on my books to read. So I'll start with your book. See, the problem, every
Come
problem on earth,
Come on
every
now.
problem on earth, the solution is in a book.
Oh, come on now.
There is no
Right?
problem that is unique to anybody. No, your case is
Wow.
not special.
Wow.
Your
Wow.
what you need to do is find the solution in the book. But the problem is we don't read.
Mm, mm,
We're a generation that we don't read.
mm, mm, mm,
You cannot be a doctor and say you learn how to become a doctor and you want to if you want to do hair transplant and they ask you, okay, this is a doctor here, a surgeon, and he said, oh, he learned how to do that just off a couple of YouTube clips.
mm,
What would you think about that surgery?
mm, mm.
You say no. See, as much as information is there, the
Mm,
knowledge is not making any impact because
mm,
there's something I teach. You know, you be, you do. Knowing
yeah.
is the information, being
Mm,
is the comprehension,
come on.
doing is the application. You cannot apply what you don't comprehend. You cannot
Wow.
comprehend what you don't know. So for
Wow.
you to be able to be, take the step back and start with the knowing.
Come on now. Come on
Don't
now.
just flip through a few YouTube things and say you know something. No.
Hey. I
Master
love that.
something.
I love that.
Master something.
I love that. I love
I
that.
ask people, how many books are people? We're in June right now. We're going to be in
Mm,
June in a few weeks.
mm,
6 months of 2024. How many books have you, everyone listening to me,
mm,
have you
mm.
read this year?
Come on now. Come
Trust
on
me,
now.
there is no hope. There is no hope for people who are not reading.
Come
I'm
on.
sorry to say that. How do you know what is telling you is see, decision making comes from the place of what we know. Those are the
Hmm,
things that makes us make decisions.
hmm,
Anything that is influencing your decision making process controls your life.
hmm,
Question is,
hmm,
what is influencing that decision making process?
hmm,
What is the source of the information you're basing your life upon? Your belief
hmm.
system is based on something.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm,
What is that source? What is the foundation of that?
hmm. Wow.
So
Wow.
it is. So my recommendation there is,
Hmm,
ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to the old way. See, read a
hmm,
page a day. Nobody's telling you
hmm.
read what you like until you can like what you read.
Come on now. Ladies and
And that's it.
gentlemen, Dr. Olusoji right here, right here, right here. How could people meet you? How can people get to know your work and talk to us about your book coming out on Saturday?
Yeah, they you can be part of the book launch. It's you can register at booklaunch.mayowaolusoji.com. You can
Hmm,
find me on Twitter. Twitter is Mayowa_Olusoji. On Instagram, you can find me at the official underscore Lord Mayor. You can find me there. You can go to my website is thecoachmo.co.uk. So you can
wow.
find me through that. Or just Google me, Mayowa Olusoji, and then you'll be able to find that, follow me and on the handle, be part of the book launch. My book is called The Money Problem. The one for the children, which is my passion, is
Hmm,
Maya's Magic Coin. Let us see.
hmm,
A good man leave an inheritance for his children's children.
hmm,
You know, so
hmm,
let us leave an inheritance. See,
hmm,
all this wealth you accumulated, if
hmm,
you do not train the children coming, they will squander it. That is why we don't have generational wealth.
hmm,
Generational wealth means each generation comes, they makes it better.
hmm,
So when they hand it over to the next generation, I have one house. Hand it
hmm,
over, that one makes it two. The
hmm,
one after that makes it three. The
hmm,
family we know these days, that is how they've done it.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
But if you do not equip the coming generation, they will squander everything you worked hard for.
wow.
There are many rich names in Nigeria that I know a lot about. If I mention them now,
Hmm,
you wonder that what happened. And these are the movers and shakers of those generation. I'm
hmm,
not saying they didn't train the children well or anything like that. What I'm just saying there is you cannot build generational wealth without making sure you're planting the right seed in the coming generation. They don't
hmm,
need PS4. They don't need
hmm,
PlayStation.
hmm, hmm,
Give them what made you.
hmm, hmm. Love it.
Build them right so they can handle what you're building. What's the point of the wealth we're trying to amass when the ones coming will just squander it?
In a,
Anyway, so
in
ladies
a
and gentlemen, it's good to
single
be
day.
here.
Lovely.
Follow me on
Lovely.
all platforms, and I'm sure definitely bringing you definitely on my platform as well because
Oh, I
there,
appreciate it.
there there's a
I,
synergy here, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you very
thank you
much, Mr.
so much.
Calvin.
I really appreciate this. Listen, I'm overwhelmed. I'm a lot better for this conversation. Thank you. Thank you. And thank
Thank
you
you
everyone
very
for
much.
listening. And please reach out to Dr. Olusoji. He's available. His link will be shared in the podcast as well. And the book coming out, Maya's Magic On. I want that for my kids. I want that for my kids. And I see you're doing something about donating $50 so that we can
Oh
spread
yeah,
this around.
what I'm doing there is well,
Mm,
it's a part one of the project. That is, we're
mm.
looking to donate 5,000 books.
Wow.
We're looking for 500 sponsors and
Wow.
to do it, donate it to 50 schools.
Wow.
So, as a sponsor, if you have $50, your
Mm.
$50 would get you 10 books.
Wow. Wow.
So,
Wow.
your 10 books, your
Mm.
$50. So, if you have 100, that means two sponsorship units. Your $100 will get you 20 books so that
Wow.
we can begin to impact those who don't have the access to these materials.
Wow.
And
Wow.
what comes with that there is you will get the daily inspiration, the daily money affirmation. We
Mm.
have the daily money affirmation. We have the
Mm.
postcard. We have the
Mm.
audio and the video as well. So
Wow.
let these children get up in the morning instead of them watching Thomas the Tank Engine. Let them
Mm.
put in their Myers Magic on daily money mindset affirmation.
Wow.
Let them
Wow.
recite that
Wow.
every morning. You know, it begins to go into their subconsciousness
Wow.
about that, in terms of that. And that is what you're building. You're planting
Mm,
the seed.
mm.
Plant the right seed so you get the right fruit eventually. So
Wow, I
yes, that
love
is
it.
what we do.
I love it. I love it. I want to be a part of that. I definitely need to be a part of that. And yeah, I can't wait to get the books, The Money Problem and Mayo Magic's Coin, for myself and for my kids, for my wife. Thank you, Dr. Olusoji. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you
Thank you
very
to
much.
everyone. Hope to see you soon. Thank you. God bless.
God bless, man. Thank you.